Hello! Welcome to the Learn American English channel, where you learn naturally so you can speak naturally. In this video, we are going to listen to conversations about how to do things. This video is divided into two parts where the characters will talk about how they do laundry and keep the house clean. There will be a listening comprehension quiz at the end of each scene. So listen carefully and see if you get all of the questions right. Also, be sure to stay with us until the end of the video. We'll point out important words from the conversations, everyday slang, and the most common way to say things in English. Watch for these words and phrases in the subtitles. You'll find their meanings in the vocabulary section in the last part of the video. Are you excited? This should be fun. First, let's listen to a conversation between Leonard and Clara as they talk about how they do their laundry. Let's see how their conversation goes, and don't forget to note the highlighted words for their meanings at the end of this video. Let's dive in.
So Clara, got any exciting plans for the weekend?
Not really, just the usual. I'm thinking of catching up on some reading and maybe trying out a new recipe. How about you?
That sounds relaxing. I might do something similar. I've been meaning to organize my closet, but you know how that goes. I'll probably just end up watching a movie instead.
Oh, I hear you. Sometimes I feel like my to-do list is just a list of things I'll never get around to. Speaking of which, I need to do laundry this weekend. It's one of those chores that just sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It feels like as soon as you finish a load, there's already another one waiting. How do you usually do your laundry? I mean, do you have a way of doing it?
Well, I wouldn't call it a special way, but I do try to be somewhat organized. I usually start with the whites because they seem to pile up the fastest. Then I move on to the colors and darks. I like to keep them separated because I'm always worried about colors bleeding.
That's smart. I try to separate mine too, but sometimes I get a little lazy and just throw everything together. I've had a few mishaps that way, like when a red sock decided to turn all my whites pink.
Haha, oh no, that's why I'm so cautious. I even use those color catcher sheets sometimes, just in case. But you know, I still end up with that one missing sock every time.
I swear there's a sock monster living in the washing machine. I've lost count of how many singles I have. What do you do about those?
I've started saving them in a little basket, hoping their partners will eventually show up. But honestly, after a while, I just give up and turn them into dust rags.
That's a great idea. I might start doing that. I've been trying to be more eco-friendly, so finding new uses for things is right up my alley. Speaking of, do you air dry your clothes or use the dryer?
A bit of both. I hang up the delicates and anything that might shrink, but most things go in the dryer. I love the feeling of warm clothes fresh out of the dryer, especially in the winter. It's like a little hug from your laundry.
That's true. I'm the same way. I do hang up my nicer tops and anything with a bit of stretch, but I love the dryer for towels and sheets. They come out so soft and fluffy, like a cloud.
Exactly. But I've noticed that the dryer tends to wear out clothes faster, so I've been thinking of air drying more. It's a bit of a balancing act, you know? Trying to do what's best for your clothes without making laundry day even longer.
Totally. I try to wash most things on cold to protect the fabric and save energy, but I'll use warm water for things like bedding and towels, just to make sure they're really clean.
Same here. And I always add a little bit of vinegar to the rinse cycle when I'm washing towels. It helps keep them soft and gets rid of any musty smells.
I've heard of that. I'll have to try it. I usually stick with fabric softener, but I've been trying to cut back since I heard it can build up on clothes over time.
Yeah, I've read that too. Vinegar is a good alternative. Plus, it's cheap and natural, so you can't really go wrong.
You're right. I'm always looking for ways to simplify my routine without cutting corners. It's like, the more efficient I can be with the little things, the more time I have for the fun stuff.
Exactly. Life's too short to be buried in laundry all the time. Speaking of which, we should plan something fun after all this laundry talk. Maybe a movie night or dinner out?
I'm in. Let's treat ourselves after getting all the chores done. After all, a little bit of fun is the best reward, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's the carrot at the end of the stick. We'll be so much more motivated to get everything done knowing we've got something to look forward to.
Agreed. Let's make a plan and stick to it. Who knew laundry talk could be so motivating?
Right? We've turned an ordinary chore into something to look forward to. That's what friends are for.
Here are some listening comprehension questions to see how well you understood the conversation between Leonard and Clara. What chore does Clara plan to do this weekend? Clara plans to do laundry this weekend. What does Clara do with her missing socks? Clara saves her missing socks, hoping to find their partners later. What do Clara and Leonard plan to do after finishing their chores? They plan to have a movie night or dinner out. So, did you get all the questions correct? Let us know in the comments section. Now let's listen to a conversation between Camille and Amara as they talk about how they keep their houses clean. Let's see how their conversation goes, and don't forget to note the highlighted words for their meanings at the end of this video. Let's begin.
Morning, Amara. How's your day going so far?
Morning, Camille. It's been pretty good, just catching up on some emails. How about you?
Same here, just trying to get through my to-do list. By the way, how was your evening yesterday?
Oh, it was fine, just the usual. Dinner, helping the kids with homework, and then trying to tidy up the house. It feels like there's always something to do at home. How about you? How was your evening?
Pretty similar. After dinner, I spent some time organizing the living room. I finally managed to get the kids to pick up their toys, but as soon as I turn around, there's something else that needs attention. Do you ever feel like the mess just never ends?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I'm constantly in a battle with clutter. It's like no matter how much I clean, there's always something out of place. I've started sticking to a schedule to help me keep things under control. I try to do one big task each day so I don't feel too overwhelmed. What about you? How do you keep things organized?
I try to clean as I go, but it's tough to stay on top of everything. If I see something out of place, I put it back right away, but with the kids around, it feels like I'm always playing catch-up. I've started involving them more in the cleanup, but that's a work in progress.
Involving the kids can be a real challenge. I've found that turning chores into a game helps. My kids love adding stickers to their chore chart. It's a simple way to keep them motivated, at least for a little while. Do you do anything like that with your kids?
I haven't tried a chore chart yet, but it sounds like a great idea. I think my kids would enjoy earning stickers, especially if there's a reward at the end. Maybe a special treat or extra playtime. It's all about finding what works, right?
Exactly. The sticker chart has been a lifesaver for us. Every time they do a chore, they get to add a sticker, and once they fill up a row, they get a small reward. It keeps them engaged, and it's nice to see them take some responsibility even if it's just for little things.
That sounds like a fun way to get them involved without too much fuss. I'll have to give it a try. But what about the bigger cleaning tasks like deep cleaning the bathroom or vacuuming the whole house? How do you find time for that during the week?
For the big tasks, I usually set aside time on Saturday mornings. I like to get up early, tackle everything at once, and then enjoy the rest of the weekend. It's a bit of a marathon, but it feels so good when it's done. Do you do something similar?
I try to, but sometimes I have to spread the tasks out over the week if I'm too busy. I'll do the bathrooms one day, the floors another. But honestly, I prefer getting it all done in one go. That way I can relax knowing everything's clean.
I totally get that. I think the key is to stay ahead of the mess as much as possible. I try to wipe down the bathroom sinks every day and do a quick sweep of the floors in the evening. It doesn't take long, and it makes the big cleanups a lot easier.
That's smart. I've been trying to do small things daily too, like wiping down the kitchen counters after cooking or picking up the living room before bed. It makes a big difference in keeping the house from getting too messy.
It really does. And I've learned not to stress if things aren't perfect. Some days the house will be a bit messy, and that's okay. As long as the house is livable, that's good enough for me.
I've had to let go of the idea that everything has to be spotless all the time. Life's too busy to worry about every little thing being perfect. Plus, a little mess just means our homes are lived in, right?
Exactly. We're doing our best, and that's what matters. If the kids are happy and the house is mostly clean, I'd say we're doing a pretty good job. It's all about finding that balance between keeping things tidy and not driving ourselves crazy.
Couldn't agree more, Amara. We've got enough on our plates as it is. Sometimes it's okay to just take a break and let the mess wait until tomorrow.
Absolutely. Here's to finding that balance and keeping our sanity intact.
Cheers to that, Amara. We've got this.
Before we review the key vocabulary from these conversations, here are some listening comprehension questions to see how well you understood the conversation between Camille and Amara. What does Amara use to keep her kids motivated with their chores? Amara uses a sticker chart to keep her kids motivated with their chores. How does Camille prefer to handle bigger cleaning tasks? Camille prefers to get all the big cleaning tasks done in one go if possible. What small daily tasks does Camille do to keep her house tidy? Camille wipes down the kitchen counters after cooking and picks up the living room before bed. So, how many questions did you get right? Let us know in the comments section. Now let's review the vocabulary from these conversations. First, we'll review some of the natural-sounding everyday phrases used by native English speakers. Watch the video again after you study the vocabulary words to learn them even better, and subscribe to see our other videos. Sneaks up on you. This means something happens unexpectedly or gradually without you noticing, like a cloud, describing something very soft and fluffy. The carrot at the end of the stick, a reward or incentive that motivates you to complete a task. The usual, the typical or normal things that happen regularly. Stay ahead of the mess, to manage or clean up mess regularly so it does not become overwhelming. Now let's review other key vocabulary. Bleeding, when colors from one piece of clothing spread to others. Shrink, to become smaller when washed. Deep cleaning, thoroughly cleaning a space, often including areas that don't get cleaned regularly. Livable, acceptable for living in, even if not perfect. Sanity, mental health or a state of being reasonable and balanced. Were the conversations relatable? Try using these conversations with your family and friends. Thank you for watching the Learn American English channel, where you learn naturally so you can speak naturally. Please click the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this one.